कबड्डी 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 कबड्डी
Kinetic, athletic, brutal, ambitious, dynamic, demanding, and intriguing. All of this summed up in one word: Kabaddi, the real game of India. India, the land that gives birth to Kabaddi players. Kabaddi is in our hearts. It is played across the length and breadth of the nation. Kabaddi is a game which has history to it. A long one. It is India's indigenous sport. It has its origin in the Hindu mythology. It is believed to have originated during the times of Mahabharata in the story of Abhimanyu and the Chakravyuh. Chakravyuh was believed to be a battle formation consisting of 7 circular positions, and Abhimanyu was the lone warrior who got stuck in the middle of it. Hence, you have one raider against the 7 defenders.
पर ये महाभारत टाइम से ही कबड्डी है। अभिमन्यु चक्कर में घुसा था, घुस तो गया और निकला, उससे गया नहीं। महाभारत वाला चक्कर भी हुआ जी।
Kabaddi is played on a 13 by 10 meters court and is separated into 2 halves by a midline. The game is played between 2 teams made up of 7 players each. The teams alternate between raiding and defending. The raider's objective is to go to the other half of the court, tap one or more of the defenders, and return safely. Sounds easy, right? Here's the interesting part. The raider must start repeatedly saying Kabaddi before he crosses the midline and cannot stop repeating this word until he crosses over to his team's side. If he stops saying Kabaddi on the opponent's side of the court, even for a split second, he's out. He picks up 1 point for each defender he touches. He must also avoid being tackled to keep the points. This is difficult as he can face between 1 and 7 defenders at the same time. The defenders have to work together as a unit, avoid the raider's tap, and failing that, stop him from returning. Defenders get 1 point for a successful tackle. Any player that steps or is forced out of the court is eliminated. Every second is important in Kabaddi. With a rich history that goes back up to 5,000 years, Kabaddi has always been an intrinsic part of the Indian tradition. But not only is it an important sport in the Indian subcontinent, it is extremely popular in surrounding Asian countries. Despite its beginning in the ancient era, the sport found its popularity outside the borders just in the last century. It is still one of the most popular competitive sports of the 20th century. Kabaddi is the state game of the Indian states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Odisha, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh.
हमारा जो गांव है यहाँ ब्लड में कबड्डी है। अब आप देख लीजिए, अजय ठाकुर देख लीजिए, बलदेव देख लीजिए, यहाँ से बहुत अच्छे अच्छे प्लेयर निकले हैं। तो यहाँ सब कबड्डी खेलते हैं। आप छोटे से बच्चे को जो कभी ग्राउंड भी नहीं गया ना, उसको भी आप बोलेंगे फुटबॉल करने को, तो वो बाई बर्थ उसके जीन्स में ही होगा, वो भी फुटबॉल करेगा बढ़िया। तो यहाँ ब्लड में ही कबड्डी है, यहाँ कबड्डी खेलते हैं और कोई माहौल ही नहीं है।
एज ए कबड्डी प्लेयर मेरा रूटीन जो है वो है, मैं क्योंकि कबड्डी जो है वो मेरे ब्लड में है ना, तो मैं इसके बिना नहीं रह सकता। मुझे लगता है कभी कभी कि मेरी लाइफ अगर मैं इसके बिना अपने आप को सोचूं तो मैं जीरो हूँ, है ना, नथिंग है मेरी लाइफ में, कुछ नहीं है अगर कबड्डी को आप निकाल देंगे तो। ग्राउंड में हम लोग आते हैं, शाम को रनिंग करेंगे, स्प्रिंट लगाएंगे, जो भी एक्टिविटीज़ हमारी जो स्पीड को इंक्रीज़ करे, और उसके बाद हम मैच प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, स्किल वर्क करते हैं। ये हमारी डेली की रूटीन होती है।
And like every other sport, Kabaddi is called by different names in these regions. It is called as Hututu in Western India, Hadudu in Eastern India, Chedugudu in Andhra and Telangana, Kaunbada in Northern India, Kaudi or Kabaddi in the Punjab region, Sadugudu in Tamil Nadu, Jai Bhavani in Maharashtra, Modern Kabaddi is a synthesis of the game played in various forms under different names. Kabaddi was not only a mandatory royal sport but also a first step to become a warrior. Even some Buddhist literature mentions that Gautam Buddha himself played the sport with his peers in the Gurukul. Although largely unknown outside of South Asia, Kabaddi is an ancient Indian sport in the midst of a resurgence on the subcontinent. Outdating more dominant and imported sporting traditions like cricket and field hockey, Kabaddi, a mix of Red Rover, wrestling and tag, was long considered a pursuit of the underclasses, a dusty, pre-modern relic devoid of the glitz, spectacle and revenue of sophisticated contemporary.
हिंदुस्तान का आज फिलहाल ऐसा स्टेट नहीं है, ऐसा जिला नहीं है जिसमें कबड्डी का स्कोप नहीं है, और हर गांव में, हर शहर में, हर उस जगह 50-100 बच्चे, अब शाम का टाइम है, 20 कदम और आगे चलोगे वहाँ बच्चे खेलते पाओगे, अगले गांव जाओगे वहाँ बच्चे खेलते पाओगे, हर गांव में कबड्डी का शोर मचा हुआ है।
हमारा ये पुराना खेल है, गांव का खेले जाने वाला खेल है, और उस खेल को मैंने समर्पित होकर के खेला। और ठीक 8 साल बाद जब 1990 हुआ, जब पहली बार इंक्लूड हुई एशियन गेम में, तो ये चाइना में हुई थी, उसकी राजधानी बीजिंग में, तो मुझे भारतीय टीम का खिलाड़ी होने का सौभाग्य प्राप्त हुआ।
Although my Chinese colleagues and friends, they are not very familiar with the idea of Kabaddi, but they have their own traditional Chinese game, which is known as Lao Ying Chua Xiao Chi. That means eagle catches chickens. Basically, the idea is that one has to act as an eagle and he has to catch all the chickens behind the hen within the time span of 5 minutes. Like Kabaddi, it also requires strength, intelligence, quick reflexes, muscle coordination and unity.
With the launch of the Pro Kabaddi League in 2014, a venture backed by regional media broadcaster Star Sports, the once provincial and old-fashioned pastime has been empowered with stylishly marketed franchises, celebrity owners, revamped rules and pumped full of cash to the tune of almost 200 million viewers in almost 100 countries. The basic rules of Kabaddi were formalized in India in the early 20th century and published in 1923. The game received international exposure when it was demonstrated by an Amravati-based sports organization at the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, and it was included as an event in the Indian Olympic Games held in Kolkata 2 years later. Following its formation in 1950, the Kabaddi Federation of India organized national championships for men beginning in 1952 and for women beginning in 1955. In the late 20th century, the popularity of organized Kabaddi began to expand beyond India's borders, in part through the efforts of the Amateur Kabaddi Federation of India formed in 1972. That same year, Kabaddi was designated the national game of Bangladesh with the establishment in 1978 of the Asian Amateur Kabaddi Federation. A regional championship was organized and national Kabaddi teams began to compete in the Asian Games in 1990. The recent decades have shown a tremendous growth of Kabaddi on the international front, with several championships across the globe like the Asian Games, which are held once in 4 years, where Kabaddi has been a regular event since the 1990 Asian Games held in Beijing, China. Kabaddi World Cup. The World Cup first began in 2004 but was not effective till 2007. From 2010 onwards, it has been an annual event. The format in the World Cup is slightly different as the field is circular in shape. Women's Kabaddi World Cup. India has the honor of hosting the first Women's Kabaddi World Cup in 2012 in Patna. A total of 16 countries took part in this event, including Western nations such as United States, Mexico and Canada. India ended up being the champion with Iran as the second runners-up. Even in 2019, India retained the title by defeating New Zealand in the finals. South Asian Games. This multi-sport event brings together all the athletes from South Asia. The organizing body is the South Asia Sports Council, which was formed in 1983. Till 2015, there were 8 countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka that have actively participated in these games. Kabaddi was introduced at the 2010 South Asian Games in Dhaka, where India won in both men's and women's category. World Kabaddi League. This is one of the biggest Kabaddi events in the world. There are a total of 8 teams from 4 countries: USA, Canada, Pakistan and United Kingdom. In this league, the matches are held in a circular field. The league first started in 2014, Pro Kabaddi League. Now it gets IPL treatment. With its razzmatazz and Bollywood backing, Pro Kabaddi has clearly taken inspiration from cricket's Indian Premier League, IPL. The short format of the game so widely followed across the country and the globe. Today, many Indians still claim Kabaddi as their national sport, and millions play, whether informally at school or in one of the 4,000 or so clubs across the country, particularly in its heartland of Tamil Nadu and Punjab.
हमारी जो कबड्डी प्रो लीग है उसमें एक टीम जयपुर पिंक पैंथर है और उनके ओनर अभिषेक बच्चन जी हैं, है ना। तो हमारे लिए भी ये बड़ी प्राउड की बात है कि वो लोग कबड्डी के साथ जुड़े।
Now, India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, commemorating 75 years, the glorious history of its people, culture and achievements. A Japanese animation, Burning Kabaddi has gained immense popularity in the home country and worldwide. It has taken Japan by storm, and kids across the globe have started taking interest in the sport proactively because of the animation.
तो हर एक युवा ड्रीम करता है कि मैं कबड्डी खेलूंगा और आगे बढ़ूंगा।
ये आने वाले समय में ये ओलंपिक में भी होगा और हमारे हिंदुस्तान के बेटा और बेटी इसमें गोल्ड मेडल जीत करके लाएंगे।
अगर आप आज से 10 साल पहले की कबड्डी देखेंगे और आज की कबड्डी देखेंगे उसमें ज़मीन आसमान का फ़र्क है।